today I have a couple tech tips for you. One's going to be on the Deuce, and then one's going to have to do with tree work. So let's start off with the one for the Deuce. Pretty simple thing to do. If you notice on this door, there's a spot where the paint's removed on this door. This door has been replaced, and I'm going to show you why that mark is there and how to keep that kind of from happening. So you'll notice now we're over at the truck, and there's no big old gouge on the new door, and it's not just because it hasn't happened yet. And you're thinking to yourself, what causes that in the first place? Well, what causes it in the first place is the relationship of this mirror bracket over here, and usually this little piece right here is the culprit, and the door, as far as when the door is fully opened. So before you go adjusting your mirror for your personal use, the first thing you really want to do is make sure that your bracketry doesn't hit when the door is fully opened. So check that first and adjust it accordingly to make it so it doesn't hit. And then go from there, and of course gently check it after you adjust the mirrors to where you want them to be. So just to show you on this one, there's a gap between the mirror bracket and the door. Otherwise you'll end up hitting your door. And that's what's pushing on the door at full extension some. Alright, so now let's hook up this winch line. I'll show you this knot or hitch depending on how you look at it. We'll grab our line. We're going to call this the tree side for obvious reasons. And we're going to call this the ground side for obvious reasons. Okay? So, tree side, ground side. So I'm going to take the ground side and I'm going to go underneath the tree side so that we have this loop right here and like an X up here, and then there's like an X here except for there's a loop in the back of it. Now, we're going to take our cable, okay, let's take our winch cable. We're going to go over the top of the back of the loop, over the top. Then we're going to go inside, then right in this X, we're going to put the X in the hook, like so. And then, you see, our X is in the hook. Then I'm just gonna let it go. Okay, nothing happens. And I'm going to go like that, and see how it looks? It's just like that. Now, we're going to take that X, and just so you know, we can do that so much faster if I'm not showing you how to do it. And I'm just going to take that. I'm going to grab both, make sure my cable's pulled all the way out, which it is. And then I'm just going to take this line right here, the ground line, and I'm just going to pull on it. And I'm just going to keep doing hand over hand. I'm going to get that fairly tight, give it a couple yanks like that. Okay, notice I just let go of it. It's not undoing. It's not coming undone. It's kept the tension that I've taken up is kept. Now I'm going to grab my other hand to get even more tension, and I'm going to grab it on the tree side, and I'm going to pull down on it, and I'm going to pull on this line as well, and I'm just going to capture some more progress here. And just like that. And you can yard on that pretty good. I got it pretty tight. You can also use two people and have one person just pulling on this line and you're pulling on this, and you can get even more out of it. Okay, now that we got that like that, again, it's not coming out. Okay, now we're going to just take the ground end, and from here we're just going to kind of double it up like that. We're going to do like 3 half hitches. So you got this much of the tail like this, and then all that excess is just the end of your rope. Okay. Alright. So we've doubled this up. We're going to go over the top of the tree side. Then we're going to come back down and in between. And again, I'm not really holding tension on that. And I'm just going to take this. I'm doing this kind of in slow motion. I fed it back through around again like that. And I just went like that. And then you're just going to do that 3 times, you know, a minimum of 3 times. you know, and you can do up to 5. After that, I think it's really just kind of stupid. And all that is a safety, just in case it slipped a little, which it's really not going to do that. But you do need those in for safety. A minimum of 1, and I don't think 1 is a good idea. I think more like 2 is good, but I like to have 3, and I'll put up to 5. And after that, it's not even worth it. So then we're going to come over to our winch, and we're going to take up the rest of the tension that we need to take up, which, depending on how tight you were able to get it by hand, won't take you that long. So we're just going to tighten this up, and then we're going to get this really fairly tight. That knot is made so that it won't tighten up and then you pull the tree over, and then next thing you know, you're spending 20-30 minutes trying to get a freaking knot out. Almost all the time you'll find that you'll be able to get that knot out with very little trouble whatsoever. If you're really stressing the rope out kind of, you know, too much, like you're putting too much pressure on it, then yeah, you might be able to get it tight enough that it binds some, but not usually. And of course, you know, you keep tightening that, the guy would, before you get it super tight, the guy would put his face cut in it so you wouldn't close up his face cut if you had that much pull ability, depending on the size of the tree, that it was already bent in that tree before you even get down to the face cut. You let him put his face cut in, then you tighten it up, and then he'd start doing some of his back cut. He or she, it should be politically correct here, he or she would be putting in their back cut. No, I'm only joking. There's probably the women that are in the field that do this kind of work are actually better than most of the men, because they kind of have to be in the field, because there's that stereotypical thing about women don't belong out here, and it's not such a big thing today, but of course yesterday it was much bigger. But enough about that. You're starting to date my age and, you know, making me look old. All right, so let's tension this up. And in the interest of not boring you to death, I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to get this really tight. Then I'll show you how tight it is maybe before I actually undo it. Then I'll shut the camera off again and undo it and get the tension out, because normally it would be that we cut the tree down and then the tension would be out, but the knot would still be tightened up from all that tension. And then we'll show you how easy this knot comes out. Okay, so we're back. I've got it tensioned up pretty stinking tight. So let's see if we can be quiet enough so we can hear this. I don't know if you just heard that. It just kind of creaked from the tension. But you can see, you know, it kind of bounces. All right. Again, I'm going to take you off camera for a second, and I'm going to release the tension because it'll take me a while to back winch this. And then I'll show you how easy that knot is to take out, even after it's been under tension. Okay, now I'll release the tension in the winch here. Again, you know, normally if you pulled the tree over, you wouldn't have to release the tension. It'd be on the ground and you'd have slack. So that knot's had all that pressure on it. And let me show you how easily it comes out. First half hitch, second half hitch, third half hitch, and I put 4 half hitches in this. And fourth half hitch. Take that out, go like that. Push my safety hook down, safety latch, and then there you go. It's out even after having all that tension on it. So hope you find that knot handy. And if you're having any trouble getting it or whatever, let me know, and I'll be glad to try to demonstrate it further if you really are having a hard time and can't figure it out from the video. Alright, have a good one. See you later.